Amen. I got you back.
Thank you for getting back in such good order. 315 is to discuss and possibly take action on reallocating funding for a dedication plaque at the new library and to use that money to enhance the computer room instead. Mr. Sneed, you asked for this. Would you like to elaborate on it, sir?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I guess we need to get something on the floor before we start discussing it.
Well, you can start discussing. Well, all right, make your motion then. I don't know. Of course, you don't know what the amount of money is yet, do you?
Yes, I do. Let me find my spot for my recess. It's 3.15, aren't we?
Yeah,
Okay.
3.15.
Move that we discuss 3.15.
This is just to, well,
Get it on the floor.
to be considered. Is that what you want to say?
That's right.
All right.
I'll second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Go ahead with your discussion.
In the past, on public projects, the plaques that are put in place as a dedication plaque, I think is a waste of taxpayer money in some cases, because it can be, the size of it can be pretty large and consume a lot of scarce resources that could go to other things. We're already $100,000 over budget on this project.
You're referring to the library project as a whole.
That's right, with the roof that was we had to pass a while back. So with that in consideration, it's not even got a roof. It doesn't have a roof on it yet, and we're not into the roof.
Excuse me, are we talking about the old part of the building or the new part of the building there that doesn't have a roof?
The new part, there's some on the front that's still exposed. It hasn't even, the roof is not complete on the new part yet, and we're already $100,000 over the project as a whole.
Okay.
We added $100,000 because we're going to tie some roofs together.
Okay.
That was a surprise. And we're not even into the remodeling of the old part yet, so I'm waiting for more shoes to drop as it gets into it. The money that we're going to spend on this plaque, I think, could better be used in filling out the new section, which has not been done. I mean, there's the appropriate money so far is just to build the building. We're hoping on donations for the rest of the fill out and shelves and rooms and dedication. And I'd like to reallocate, as it says, the funds for the plaque for computer equipment.
How much money is the plaque?
It was told to me that the plaque is in the range of, it's about $2,300.
$2,300.
Now, when I started this project, the one at the substation, the builder of our substation told me that plaque was $10,000. And that's when I got thinking about this and put this on the agenda. But I've been told that this one is $2,300. And I think the public could be better served with something they can use rather than a plaque on the wall with our names.
Is that your point?
That is my point.
All right. Now let me, just a moment here. This is, when you look at this project, we are a significant funder of it. We contributed $1 million to the building project, as did the county. Now, when this project was conceived, the library board, and Bruce, you can remember when we were working on it in its early stages, we're looking for the city and the county each to contribute something more like $2.25 million. And we worked with the library board over a period of time, and this project has been under serious discussion from 2005 to the present. So it's been a pretty long. But in that process, we managed to work things out with the library board, and they had a change of heart, if you will, and they went to seeking more private donations so as to reduce the cost to the taxpayer. And so instead of our funding it to the tune of $2 million or whatever, we had pretty well drew the line that we would contribute $1 million if the county would do $1 million, and that's exactly what has happened. But My concern here is that money has it not already been paid to them, or a good chunk of it? The library board, this is the library's project. We are contributing roughly 1/4 of that money. So how do we have the right, what part are we taking back? The county's given $1 million, the Stokes Brown Trust Fund is giving money. How do we have a right to change that project? That's not our project. We were a donation, a serious donation to the library project. But we are not running the project, although our engineer is providing the oversight of it.
Okay, you posed the question to me, how do we have the right? We're appropriating funds to this project.
We did to the project, period.
And we just approved 100,000 more to the project at last meeting.
I
And there'll be
understand.
more to come.
I understand, perhaps.
And if we have no enforcement action on this, but it is a recommendation that we better use the money available.
So you're meaning this strictly as a recommendation? That's that
Absolutely.
$2,300.
Absolutely, and then it's going to have to be approved by the county as well.
And then does that cover all the people who make private donations? See, what I'm getting at, suppose somebody else comes in who's donated money and says, okay, I want to make the computer room bigger, or I want to add this, that, and the other. How do we have a right to change this in the middle of it? Even though it is an
It's the
insignificant,
government.
it's not a great amount of money, but we already worked with them to get our part drastically reduced. So is it wise to take away to me, that's a dedication plaque. It's not about people. It's about, per se, those individual names. It is about a project that's going to be here for 60, 70, 80 years. The present library is 55 years old, I believe.
Mr. Mayor, you've asked me the question, how do we have the right? I've answered that question. We don't have a right. It's a recommendation. And when I see plaques on the government buildings that my tax dollars paid for with a lot of politicians' names on it that glorify them, and it wasn't their money, it's the taxpayers' money.
No,
And
but
I
we're
think
representing the taxpayers.
had rather have equipment in there than a plaque with our name on it.
Well, perhaps so. All right, you've got a motion on the floor that and you're calling this a recommendation that you're talking about the whole plaque, that $2,300. Okay. If you talk to the library board representatives about this,
I've talked to the chairperson,
and what did the chairperson say?
had no comment.
All right,
She answered
you've
my
got a motion before you, duly seconded. No, we don't have a second. Excuse me.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Well, I did second him to discuss it.
Did you? Okay.
That's right.
All right, so you said, okay, so it's on the floor, and we have discussed it. Anything further?
I'm not saying I'm redundant what the mayor says, but understand that we are elected to be the guardians of the public purse. Even though our names may go on a building, it's not to stroke our ego, but it's to show our constituents, understand me, that we listen to them, understand me, and put forth this project, okay? Just hold up now. Put forth this project. It's not an ego thing. So really, we're not really just taking all the credit, but yet and still, the leaders have to be recognized. And it's okay to be recognized, okay? So this is what these people are looking at, and we have to accept it, okay? Plus, most of those contributors would eat $2,300. Now, I can see if it was contentious or $100,000 or something like that, but $2,300 now, that's being a little, and I'm gonna use the word persnickety.
All right, the recommendation is before us. Ms. Deeds, you have something else you want to add?
Call for question.
Call for the question. If you favor this issue, vote aye when your name is called, which is to request that those funds for the plaque be shifted to additional equipment in the computer room. If you favor it, vote aye. If you oppose, vote no.
Darnell,
No.
Head,
Yes.
Sneed,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Snyder,
No.
Gregg. Hubbard,
No.
passed 4-3.
Excuse me, I have a question. Go ahead.
How does this board want me to present this to the library board and the county commission?
It's a request.
I've told the chairman of the library board to not place the order until we have our meeting and have this vote. If the county's already passed it, then they'll have to reconsider, just like if they pass something opposing to what we've done. It's just,
Well-
they just got to it first.
They, when you say they,
The county
it's my understanding that we voted not to make a recommendation not to do the plaque. Am I correct? Okay. So
That's right, use the money for better use.
So are you wanting me as the project manager to ask the county building and grounds to consider that?
That would be correct, to
Okay.
comply with what we have done.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. Why? Are we gonna go to the other donations in it? Other donors who've given money? How do we have a right to go tell the county, it's fine if we want to recommend taking it out.
I don't think people who donated money put in a stipulation, you make sure you put my name on that plaque. It was
You
donated to the
don't
project.
think they're gonna be on there?
Ooh, Stokes Brown.
They are.
The name's already on the side of the building.
We don't have a right to, that resolution
Mayor, you're
did
trying to
not.
make too much out of it. I'm trying to divert money for a plaque with the politicians' names to go to better use. It's passed, it's over, I'm ready to move on.
That's fine, but it was passed for this city. It didn't say anything about the county.
That's true.
We don't have any authority other than to send the library board a letter.
We pass things all the time and ask the county, who is partners
But
on the
that's not what your
project.
motion said.
It would make sense to. If we've passed something
I
that
don't-
all our names are gonna be on the same
That's
plaque,
not in
ask
it.
the
If you want
county.
it, you better get another motion.
Well, I'll ask the county to put it on their agenda. We've passed our side. I'll ask them, forget about that.
All right,
I
let's
can
move
ask
on.
them to put it on their agenda.
316, we're talking about the ratification of an emergency purchase for HVAC units at the Branchford Community Center.
Move for approval.
Second.
Paul, you want to discuss this?
Well, thank you, Mayor. It really, I can say the same thing pertaining to 316 and 317. We have $125,000 allocated in the budget for general government buildings. We own the Branchford Community Center, and that was allocated for the roof. When the heating units failed, I authorized shifting some money from the roof, $11,000 to make that repair. And so they did get 3 written quotes on that because it was an emergency and the work has been done.
All right, sir.
Can I make a comment, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
This is a major part of your interventionary, preventionary, criminal deterrent. Am I right, Chief? Yes, sir. And that's exactly what that building is doing. So anything that we can do to assist it, I'm for it.
All right, any other questions or comments on this? A motion and a second. If you favor this emergency purchase, the ratification it said, vote aye. If you oppose, vote no.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Carneal, Sneed,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Gregg, Trotter.
Aye.
Passed 7-0.
And now, the next item is to take action on the roof repair at the same center.
Move for approval.
Second.
Uh,
And the amount of that is,
Well, it's going to be about 95, a little over 95,000. Let's get it here. It's $95,150, and what we're awarding the bid on, though, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, we're only going to do 2 sections of the roof. They took bids on the entire roof. What we want to repair is the portion of the building that's currently in use. And so we had 125,000 budgeted. We allocated 11 to heating. We got 114,000 left. So we're well within budget to award it on the first two sections of the building.
Yes, and just for clarification, and Robert asked me to speak to this evening, Robert Gardner did. If we do sections 1 and section 2, what that does is that covers those areas that are currently in use. It gives us a little bit more than that where we could expand some of that south wing. And that's the reason for that. Because of the way that it's divided up, because of the way the sections are divided up, it's necessary to do both sections 1 and 2 to cover all of that space. And since we're planning to put in some computers soon and do some things like that, we need that new roof. We need to protect it from the water that pours in every time it rains.
All right. Is there a motion in this regard? And a second. Any discussion then? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Gregg.
Aye.
Snyder. Pass 7-0.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. 3.18, discuss and possibly award a negotiated lower price contract with the low bidder for the construction of a new animal shelter. Is there a motion this be discussed?
Move for approval.
A second? Consider. Is there a second? Fails for lack of a second. 319 is the update on our EPA order, administrative order of consent. Mr. Lemasters, you want to update us?
Well, no, this,
We skipped the animal shelter. We moved on down.
okay, 319 is trying.
Excuse me, wait a minute.
This is trying to schedule a special meeting.
Oh, a scheduled meeting for it. Okay. Well, go on and give us the report, and then we'll see if we want to do this other. We're going to combine those.
Well, the big news about the last quarter, since the last monthly update is that contract 1A is complete. The board approved change order, the final change order, and final payment is made, so that contract is complete. We're now in the 12-month contract of warranty period on that. We believe that the work that the contractor did is superlative. I mean, it's really great. We had that one manhole on Circle Drive and Linden Lane that would overflow with a great degree of frequency. I don't believe it's overflowed in the last inch and a half, 2-3 inch rains that we've had. It's really done well. So we're really pleased with 1A. 1B, we're still having a few issues. We're getting squared away with the contractor. We should have the final change orders come to the board in the January business meeting. We have awarded, of course, we've already started work on contract 2A, and right now the contractor is signing all the contracts for 2B, so we should be getting seeing work done on that. Other than that, we're just moving right along.
All right, Nate, thank you for that report. Is any particular time frame on that special meeting, first 2 weeks of the month? Is that what we're talking about, perhaps?
It's whatever y'all want. We thought it'd be time to give the board another update. Gresham Smith would come in and basically give it an update like they did, what, about a year or so ago, Ken? Just kind of like a yearly update. Let's let you know where they stand and on various parts of the order.
All right. Well, the regular meeting will be
January 20.
January 20, so 6 is a little too early. 13th, work with everybody. That'd be we try to keep these extra meetings on Tuesday. Now, I want to ask a question here. We do usually have our extra meetings, our called meetings, earlier than 7:30, because for a lot of people, the earlier hour is preferred. Do you all prefer something earlier than 7 o'clock?
I would love to see it.
Bobby,
move up
you're
now.
new. I just wondered how you felt. Jeff, I didn't know what y'all's schedules were.
Fine with me. Whatever.
You want to do it before we go, in other words, you want something at 5 o'clock and get it out of the way?
Yes, please.
Is that a problem with you, Bruce? No. All right, any objection to 5 o'clock meeting? All right, we'll do it on the 13th at 5 o'clock then, please. All right, that clears that up except for 3.20, which, James, you want to comment on
Yes,
the
sir.
meeting we attended in the
Austin.
National League of Cities, Congress of Cities meeting in
Austin, Texas.
Texas in November.
At Mr. Sneed's request, and I concur with him, he wanted to know a summary of our meetings that we attend. The National League of Cities is just a conglomeration of 3,000 municipal cities of America, and they come together to strategize, they come together to empower, they come together to show different ways of improving your cities. Tennessee is also represented with the Tennessee Municipal League. See, but once we come on a national level, we bring it all together, and the primary purpose is to make our cities stronger. This year's theme was the future of cities, and so some of the key things were workshops on public and private partnership, heavy emphasis on schools and youth with sustainable education approaches, different innovations and technological approaches were taught, and special programs designed to support economic growth. I'm a member of the Community Economic Development Committee, and we had three major things that we brainstormed. Institution for Building Technology and Safety. And this policy involves inspections, plan reviews, building department services, education and training policies and procedures, development to enhance a more effective and efficient collaboration between local, state, and federal systems. Second thing we worked on in my committee was the Fair Housing Act, to continue to encourage HUD to be more strict and implement federal policies concerning segregation racially and ethnical dominated areas in education, employment, transportation, and housing. And one of the third things we worked on was veterans housing and employment. That's a big problem, so my committee talked about that. And as you already know, I'm a Diamond Leadership Fellow, so I thank the city for allowing me to get there. And one of my sayings sort of go along with the overall theme, and I think the mayor could say that education and economy go hand in hand. If you have a deficit in one, you're going to bring down the other. So it's very essential that we as board members consider training, whether on TML or NLC. It enhances our abilities to be more effective leaders. So that sort of summarizes it, and I have catalogs and different things if you guys want to, and ladies, if y'all want to see about the meeting.
That was good. I focused on community policing, new technology for law enforcement, because obviously you can't hire enough police officers to do the job. And since crime reduction is a primary focus of our city, I went to 3 or 4 different sessions involving this, including after-school programs for youth. A lot of stress on that over and over and over. Saw some pretty good ideas, some ideas that I had not been exposed to before on technology, and I'm going to take some of that up with Chief Thompson, although he's brought us a lot of new great ideas already. But listen to a police chief from Riviera Beach, I believe, Florida. Riviera Beach. And had a very interesting focus that I liked. And but we had some good, frank discussion of some of the problems that are going on nationally in the way of police and community relations, and I thought that was the most timely thing I could spend time on. It was a good meeting. The other meeting that the National League of Cities has each year is a conference in Washington that's either in March or April each year. So we have money budgeted each year for for meetings such as that, and I do think it was a good meeting. I appreciate the opportunity to attend and represent the city. We have the consent agenda, which has...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add something to the agenda that I emailed Mr. Nutting November 19th. It was failed to put on there. if I could. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Tonight's agenda,
That is correct. Add an item to the agenda.
I thought we took care of what you had asked.
No, I'm adding something to the agenda. It requires, I'd like to add an item to the agenda in the form of moving this Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting to 6:00 p.m.
The regular meeting?
The regular meeting.
Don't have a bit of problem with it, but when we've talked about it before, Clay, and I don't know whether you were on the board at that time, what I was told is that the charter set the day and the time.
Right.
So we have to amend the charter.
So we would have to amend it. If we do that,
Well, okay, can I say something? Yeah, I forgot about that. I did research it, and it is not a charter. And Christie, maybe you and I can talk in the morning. The charter says it will be set at 7:30 unless you do it by ordinance. So we can pass an ordinance and we can change the time.
Okay.
And if you want us to do that, we could draft an ordinance, just as long as Christie gets a chance to check that out. And if you agree to do that, then we can have an ordinance prepared at the next meeting.
Clay, would that satisfy? I think you have a good idea.
Before I start doing too much discussion, I'd like to just get you on the floor in a second, and we'll discuss it.
Okay, go ahead. and get you-
I'll make a motion that we add moving the meeting to 6 p.m., our regular Board of Mayor and Aldermen
Okay.
meeting, 6 p.m.
I second that.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay. And I know in the past that the meetings has been set at 7:30 to accommodate some closing hours at a business of some former member. Since that's no longer a necessity or even a requirement, to accommodate that, the high school students who have already left, it's school night. These people are here salaried. I'm sure they'd all like to go home and still see people up watching TV when they get there. And this is a fairly short meeting compared. It's average, say it's average. So,
What I was told by the high school was, of the 3 meetings that these students attend, the school board, the county commission, and ours is the latest starting and the longest. So, of course, the county commission meeting, so much of their work is done in committees. So when they have their meeting, their agenda is probably, their length of their meeting doesn't average much over 30 to 45 minutes.
well, another thing is too, I mean, each one of us have 17, 18% of each vote. You got 24 people over there, it's 3% of the vote. I mean, one person gets up and speak, I mean, they're going to have to get a lot of pull from 12 other people. We just have to get 3 other people to vote.
All right, so you made that to add it to the agenda, okay?
That's right.
All right, if you favor adding it to the agenda, and then we'll vote on item and see. If you're favoring adding it to the agenda, vote aye when your name is called.
Carneal,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Sneed,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Gregg,
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
That's 7-0.
All right, now, you want to make your motion to approve it,
Yes. Move to approve.
what we just added?
Yes, I guess it'd be
Second.
3.22.
All right, any discussion? Call the roll.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Snyder,
Aye.
Carneal, Sneed,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Gregg,
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
That's 7-0.
All right,
So we'll
now,
prepare an ordinance.
yeah, prepare an ordinance of that. Now, we have 2 items on the consent docket. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Call the roll on the consent docket. That's 2 items, and they're taken together. Call the roll, please.
Trotter,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Carneal,
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Gregg,
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
That's 7-0.
All right, your next meeting will be the call meeting on the 13th at 5 o'clock, and then the meeting on the 20th will be at 7:30 until we can work through the ordinances and get that changed, okay?
City Manager's report. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to report that I'll be going on vacation Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon through December 31st, so Ms. Gina will be in charge in my absence. Also asked Gina to give the board a briefing. We've gone self-insured for employee health insurance, and I would want Gina, if she could take a few minutes and brief the board on what's changed this month.
I'll condense my version that I gave the employees last week from 30 minutes down to about less than 5. As you know, we went self-insured for this calendar year, and the reason we did it was we thought that possibly we would take a chance to see if the claims that we paid would be less than the premiums that we were paying. And everything looked like it would point us in that direction. And we've been averaging about $55,000 a week in claims for this calendar year. So it looks like we will hit about $2.85 million in total cost for all our health insurance for the calendar year 2014. Had we stayed with Blue Cross, we would have hit about $3 to $3.1 million. And Blue Cross told us that. So it looks like we actually do have a savings by going self-insured, which is really good. Now that's 100%, that's the city share and the employee share. But if we save $200,000, $300,000, which we hope we will, then the city saves and the employee saves, so it benefits everybody. So for next year, we are projecting that we're going to have to fund more by about 16.5%. And the reason is that we're going to have claims for 2 years instead of 1. We'll be paying some lagging claims from the last quarter of 2014 next year. And usually that happens when you go self-insured. The second year, you're going to be paying more claims. We've had some really high claims. We have a little bit of an increase in our stop-loss insurance. And we have some new fees that you all are aware of that we owe the federal government to pay for the health care reform. In January, we're going to have to pay $28,000 in a tax or fee that we've never had to pay before. And then in July, we'll have to pay another fee to the federal government. So we'll have about $45,000 to $50,000 in cost to the federal government on top of all of our claims. So with all of that, our consultants projected that we need about a 16.5% increase. And what that means for the employees who are on the S plan, which is the lowest cost plan, and most employees are on that, means that the employees with single coverage will pay about $12 more a month, family coverage about $36 more a month. All the benefits will be the same, the co-pays, the deductibles, city's still paying the 85% of the premium for the S plan. Employees can still pick a P plan, which has more providers, but everything stays the same as it's been for the last couple of years. So that's sort of where we are, and we're pretty pleased with our self-funding for this first year. And we met with all the departments last week and explained everything to all our employees.
I want to again say how glad we are to have our two new members and our new attorney. And Lisa Crockett, I want to say, since I wasn't here at last meeting, we truly welcome you and glad you're on our staff as well. Appreciate all the presence of all of you all tonight, and to all of our employees and our visitors and all. Merry Christmas and a happy and safe and blessed New Year.
One omission.
Thank you for coming.
One omission.
What?
I'm starting year 23, so I'm the oldest one on the board now.
How old are you now?
This is my 23rd year on the board.
Well, yeah, I was out in the chamber for 11 years around then, but there we go. All right, we're adjourned.
You got to go over
We'll make sure you tell